importance of audit checklist is um, as security researchers or auditors, you'll be doing a lot of research, and for that reason, you want something that would basically lead you to what you want as fast as possible. Say, for instance, you are getting a ERC20 token contract which you have audited over time, and because you have referred yourself to the ERC20 token repository I'll be showing you in this course, you won't even have to revisit it anymore because you already have it mastered. So for that reason, when you're performing your audit, you are taking note of um, all of these things arising while checking your audit. So so why do we need an audit checklist? Why do you have it? Why do you need to have it by your side and say, okay, I'm auditing a DeFi protocol, yielding protocol. What best practices should I check out for? So that's why I need an audit checklist. So it identifies potential risk and control flow weaknesses. So if you look at some audit checklists, you all what it entails is how you should check out for how variables in the smart contract will change within a function call. So when you call, say for instance, function deposits, what are the state variables that will be changing? You expect that, oh, when you make a deposit, your balance should be more than what you have. Your balance should be exactly what you sent into the contract. So if you notice what I said now is your balance should be greater than what you had before, and your balance should be exactly what you sent to the contract. We've seen instances where even when you send make a deposit and you go back to the contract is telling you, oh guy, you did you okay, you made a deposit of 10 ether. You're coming back into the contract, you're saying 8 ether, it's showing you have 8 ether in the balance. So what's going on in the contract? You definitely want to check out some of these function and it states changes flow. So when you have another checklist that tells you, okay, you need to check out for the internal variables, you need to check out for constant variables. Okay, why are you using a constant variable in this instance, and what is it going to do? How are they being referred to within the contract? So you want to see how all of that changes within the contract. So in the process of you looking out for this, it points you to possible issues that could arise. Oh, you observe the fact that your balance was increased when you made the deposit. So if you come back to the contract to withdraw, and after you withdraw, you expect that your balance will reduce by the amount you inserted to withdraw. Say you deposited 10, you're withdrawing 5. So you have the remnant of 5 to yourself. But funnily, you came back and you discover that, oh, I can still withdraw as much as possible. This thing is still showing me that I have 10 ether, 10 ether. So all those things are things that will point you to some security issues that Idris mentioned, issues of reentrancy, and a couple of all of that. Overflow, underflow error, possible DOS issues arising due to maybe there was a loop. So I saw something very quite interesting about a loop. It was like a check that checks that if the guy who we are looking for is not in this for it. So when you have an audit checklist, it helps you in making recommendations. So very recently, I was making the emphasis of the importance of giving a recommendation. Now, if you are saying you find an issue, definitely give me how I can resolve the issue, because especially when you go for some of these community audit contests, they are quite interesting. What makes them quite interesting is if you are able to make a findings with a good recommendation. This recommendation tells them you understand the issue. Let me tell you some issues that have good recommendations. It doesn't cause any doubt. You give it to the developer, and developer says it. Oh, this recommendation shows me exactly the issue that will happen. Maybe issue of a huge amount resting in the contract, and nobody can even withdraw it. So you are showing us with a POC how to resolve this issue. So with an audit checklist, when you've seen an issue before in a protocol, say a DeFi protocol that majors on yielding, and you're auditing subsequent time, if you find similar issues, you will see the recommendation will be as much as they will be coming to your mind as much as, okay, you recommended this in the previous one. What other gas optimized way can you make a better recommendation? So that's what audit checklist helps you do. Along the line, it's at times you don't even need to revisit them, but it points you to some things, and we'll find out along in the when we go through it. So we have to make an overview of the ERC20 token. So here's the repository. So what are these tokens? There are some peculiar tokens that deviate from the conventionals. By conventionals, you expect all to work as normal. You're making transfers. There won't be any deduction on your transfer. It goes to the other end. The other person receives. Times when some protocol will choose to introduce some features, some functionalities to happen. Like for instance, we've seen instances where tokens can be paused, a token contract can be paused, and you, an holder of such token, cannot be able to spend your token anymore because the contract has been paused. And in a way, when it was paused, it was, let's say, the modifier from possible was attached to a function, and so for that sole reason you can't call it. So you also want to check out for if there are upgradable tokens, what things should you pay attention for in areas of state variables, so you won't encounter issues of state collision and all of that. I was to take us to this, okay, take us to this repository. I will just quickly, I think I have it open down here. So I want us to like visit this repository, so we'll see how much more stuff's there. So first off, you can see there are a lot of checklists. You just need this by your side. Trail of big checklist, that's consensus. So along the line, while you audit, funnily, there are some bugs even these black hats are discovering, and you're delighted. You definitely need to pay attention to this issue. You definitely want to check out for it when you're auditing any similar issues. So there are times when you make transfer, you expect the transfer to return if it's successful or not, whether it's a true or a false. And for that reason, within the contract, you want to see perform some other things in the contract. And there are things you should know that not all your 20 token contracts do this or return these values. So that's what this is pointing us to. See, for instance, you expect, so this will cause a revert, especially when you're expecting a bull value, and within your contract, you want to check if it's a success or not. And since you're not returning any value at all, it breaks at that point. So you want to check out for possible issues like this. You want to see how fee on transfer works. So fee on transfer is quite interesting, especially when you now start interacting or providing such token into the liquidity pool. So you want to take note. I think Uniswap has an extra function to deal with tokens that have fee on transfer on them. That is, say you want to make transfer to OB at the other end. So before you make 100 ethers worth of tokens to OB, there will be a deduction of 10% from it. So that's what a fee of transfer is. So things like this are things you want to watch out for. Even as a user, you want to take note of all these things happening. Um, there's that of upgradable tokens, which I've mentioned before. There's possible tokens, the issue of approval rates protection. When, say for instance, um, you provide 100 worth of token to OB to spend. You approve OB 100 tokens to spend. But along the line, you felt, oh, that was too much for OB to spend. You should have given him 50 to spend. So if OB is aware of your intention to make changes to the 100 approval you initially gave him, OB can quickly spend that 100, wait for the other transaction which you have initiated, that is the transaction of changing his approval to 50 to also happen. So OB has spent the 100, wait for the 50 to comply, and then it shows that OB has extra 50 to withdraw when he has already withdrawn the 100. So issues like this you want to take note for. Okay, the revert on approval to zero address. And okay, yes, you want to also take note of decimals, because decimals differ. Some are 6, some 9, some 18. That's the conventional one, 18. So the reason why they differ is dependent on what the protocol is implying to do with their tokens. So some tokens are just utility tokens that want to be used to regulate maybe the voting or that of gaming system. So it all differs. So you want to always take note of all of this. So the a whole lot. So because I'm going to be revisiting, I'll be revisiting some other examples. I will just go back to the slide. So some of these examples are okay. This one is very popular from Transmissions 11 from the Parallel guys. He created this as, I can't remember as early as when he created this. So this checklist emphasizes the importance of doing a manual review. It's okay. I think I have it open too. The reason why I want us to open it is so you see the little things he points us to. Okay, here is it. So so it begins to little things as